Oh, okay.
Oh. Are you ready, Matt?
Just about.
Okay. Oh, I could do one.
Technical difficulties.
We're ready. Okay, it's January 23 at 4:04. I call the city council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is the approved minutes from January 9, 2024, city council meeting minutes. Are there any additions, changes to the minutes?
No.
I found them. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 9th.
I'll make a motion to approve council meeting minutes from January 9th, 24.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, reports. Fire department's not here, health's not here. So we'll go on to new business. So we had a city council workshop on January 18th. It was just to talk over some issues, give us a chance, this council a chance to talk amongst themselves and, you know, discuss some stuff. So the things that we covered, the first thing was a mainline utility extension. Who was responsible for it, either the homeowner or the city? We discussed it. It was felt that this was probably the city's responsibility to put the lines in. It's at our expense. So the ordinance is very unclear on this whole thing. So we will have to eventually do an ordinance change. So we discussed this, guys. So I would entertain a motion to make the responsibility for the main line to be assumed by the city, because this is one that's going to have to be put in April.
I'll make the motion that all new main lines will be the responsibility of the city.
Do I have a second?
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the next part of that is we discussed that we would be putting in a water and a sewer line. We do not have the equipment to really efficiently do this at this time. So it was discussed that we put this out to bid for contractors who have the equipment and the experience. So I would entertain a motion to move forward with this, to put a bid out to get this project done in April.
I make the motion to put it out to bid, for doing the, line extensions.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, so we can move forward with that, and we will get a bid out. The bid will be specific if they have experience in doing that kind of work. The other thing we talked about was short-term rentals. We're still working and trying to get some basic rules for these. I mean, we're struggling like everybody else. We had a rough draft that we reviewed from the lawyer. We went through it. We made some changes, things we didn't like, and it's going back to the lawyer. Once we get a workable document, we will then have public hearings on it. This is not something that's going to take a little while. We'll have to have public hearings, and it'll come to council a couple times. So that will just be pushed on until we get back more paperwork from the lawyer. Transient lodging tax, we talked about that in regard to the use of transient lodging. The city has not gone in and requested use of their TLT, so we discussed some of the things we would like to maybe see it used as far as advertising more for events up here. 70% of it goes for advertising. They don't do a lot of advertising. They do it mainly toward Boise in that area. They don't do like Central Oregon and down in the valley, which we used to pull people for flea market from there. So at the next meeting, I will, or someone will attend that meeting and then voice to them that we would like to see a little change in the advertising to more benefit, the city. There's even stuff like the antique races for next year. We get that out more in the fall. So just so we start to build up a little more, because people need to know we're here. So we need to start asking them to use our money. Because we can't, you know. So anyway, that's gonna be an ongoing. We just did some cleanup verbiage on the employee handbook. It was just the verbiage wasn't correct. It was correct, it just wasn't written well enough that everybody understood. That was cleaned up. And then there's some properties or zone splits that we will be addressing later on. They're just, we did, some places have a commercial and then a back residential piece. So, Marcia looked into this and we can do small pieces and, it has to be still ran to the state and the county, but we will be working on that. And again, that'll be a public hearing situation once we get there. So that's what we did at workshop. Actually, we got a lot discussed and a lot done. And it works well this way when we can just sit down and actually discuss things with each other. Okay, antique snowmobile races.
Oh, that is me.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Coy Wild. I've been here before. So I've come to ask permission to do the races on February 24th and 5th. And then I have a secondary date in case something was to get pushed off from the 24th and 5th. That would fall on March. I wrote it down. I'll find it. March 2nd and 3rd, yeah, which would be the following weekend if something happened and we knew for sure we were gonna get the weather and we weren't gonna have it on the 24th and 5th, then we push it out till that weekend.
Yeah, the weather hasn't been too cooperative.
Pardon?
The weather hasn't been too cooperative.
No, it's been a pain in the rear this year. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah, and then Dave Simonson has given us his approval already, so that is done. Insurance is lined out, so we just have to get it presented a little bit ahead of time after we know where to go on that.
Did you do your form, you know, that form we had you fill out before? Event form, did you have them fill that out before the event?
No,
Oh, no,
for the grounds rental.
Yeah,
we did not charge the.
right, we
for
didn't
that,
charge,
yeah.
but did we have them do a form?
We can do a form to make sure that it's,
Just so we have it on the
Yeah.
calendar and stuff, we'll do that. for
I
you.
think we did charge those.
no, what I believe what we did was have them pay for the fuel for the parking lot.
Yeah.
And we do have the water and all of that turned off in the
Right.
building, so you'll have to have.
Good.
an outhouse
Bathroom.
for it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I say, you know, it'd be nice if we get some more advertisement maybe for next year.
So listen, I'm working on that. The ball kind of got dropped on it and
Okay.
I'm starting late now.
Okay.
And next year, you're gonna see me about December and we're gonna start at the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
for February. February seems to be the month that this goes down the best. So you'll see me then and we're gonna make sure we get it all worked out in advance. And then I'm also working on different advertising strategies so we can get it promoted, because when you start late, everything's off. Sponsors are off, participation's off.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
makes it tough.
So, but it's kind of a good thing for the city, you know, it
Mhm.
brings a lot of people to town. And so, and if we didn't do it this year, then as you know, once you don't do it, then it just declines more and more until it's gone.
Oh, yeah, that's like why I said I'd like to get to where they advertise it more, letting people know, like, next February, it's gonna be here.
Right, it's hard to pin down a date,
Yeah,
but we
like
can do a
February,
month.
March, yeah, February, March, yeah, so.
And if we can get that TLT tax working in our
Yeah.
favor and get some of that and get it ahead of time, because we have to ask,
Mhm.
that will help offset some.
Right, and I was going to go to Baker County and talk to them, but they were a 60-day mandatory notice on it, and so I was unable to hit them on the transient tax on it this year, but I'm
That's
gonna
what I
hit
was gonna
that.
say, you probably need to be in there for their November meeting.
Yes,
So that you have the funds by January.
okay,
So
Chamber of Commerce would help with that, or is that all part of the
It's all
it's TLT and they do ask for 60 days.
mhm,
So the meeting is the third week.
okay,
So if you figure, right before Thanksgiving to try and get on the docket for that meeting.
okay,
And then when they approve it, they ask for like up to 60 days. So that they
Oh,
can get
okay.
the funds all cut and stuff like that.
okay,
So that would put it then that you would get your funds in January for February.
that'd be
So,
fine, perfect.
yeah, or you could even go in April or in October, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 180
insure it.
day maximum prior to the date, and then it was 60 days, minimum notice. So, and I'm.
And you
there's
should
no
be
other way
fine
around it.
then if you get in by November, you should be just
Okay,
fine.
I will do that. This is gonna change next year. So if I can have your approval on that, then I would like to discuss the lot plowing with you.
Okay, entertain a motion to move forward on the antique snow license. Is there any more discussion? Okay,
I'd rather move forward after we get that.
Okay. so give us the following.
So listen, here's the thing with the plowing is, I believe last year it cost $387, if I'm correct on that. That was the amount. That's pretty close, wasn't it? So what I'd like to ask the city is if we could base rate that to $350. So then what I did is I went to the merchants. I went to a merchant meeting today and approached them with them helping with the plowing, because then it benefits the town. When people come, they have a spot to park, for other events, because the poker run's coming up the weekend before our event, and there's nowhere to park. So I was hoping if we got it done before that, but anyway, then that would be beneficial to everyone if that was always kept open. So what I'd like to do is we could just base rate that at $350, then the merchants, they're gonna either kick in some or all of it potentially, and then whatever they don't make up, I will. And then what I'm going to do is if we base rate it at $350, I will pay you, because I know there was a problem last year that we're gonna rectify right now, and that is I will pay you the $350 in advance so that we know it's all handled and taken care of.
Yeah, the only thing, and that's up to council too, because it's not necessarily the fuel rate, but with the rain that we have, as heavy as the snow is, it's gonna be some work to move this.
Well, that was, right
And the
now
ground's
it's,
not froze.
yeah, right now it's dropped down a bunch. We went and laid the track in today and kind of rolled it out, so we had an idea where it was gonna be at. And if it was kind of started on, then it could probably get done pretty easy. And it doesn't have to be as opened up as much as it was last year. If it, we had ample room, I will say that.
So if we do about half,
If you did 3/4 of it,
okay.
yeah, that would be fine. Yeah,
We don't normally even the poker run doesn't bring in people where they're gonna know to park up there. So-
Well-
And we don't supply that for
Well, the
clubs
thing is though, is
as a city.
Ryan can fix that part. Because a lot of people used to park at their place.
Right.
And plug up the city streets, and we used to get complaints from that too,
Okay.
Well,
to where you could send them back.
and the guy, the poker run is also running, checks on the trails this year, and they're advertising that, so,
Yeah.
we might have some actual more sledders and more trailers for the poker run, and we're hoping that we do. So we need a spot for them to park also.
I think I can speak for both the snowmobile club and the volunteers, and we're willing to contribute a significant amount of, the cost, keeping that parking area clear.
How are you gonna let people know that it's up there?
Put
they.
signs.
They will find
yeah,
it.
they park
They will find it. They know the fairgrounds are there, and they're gonna drive around, they'll find it. You don't have to.
Because right now, they just plug up everything, and we've opened our lot to people, they can
Yeah.
park over there too.
But if the area is clear, they will find it. If you build it, they will find it.
It'd be nice to park a sign down there, snowmobile parking, so they could go up.
But I-
Well, like I said, it's just, my main concern is the 350 is gonna be pretty close, I'm gonna say. Cause I take my loader down there and I volunteer to go down there and do that, along with the city to help them out. But like I said, with this wet, heavy snow, it's a real payment
Of course
to
it is.
move it. You
It's
know,
the worst to
It's
move that
normal.
stuff right now.
And the thing is we need to do it, but yet at the same time, it's gonna be really fun to do, because we're gonna have to leave a base on the bottom, because otherwise you're gonna tear it to the ground.
Yeah, whatever you do, whatever it takes to make it happen, that's one thing. I'm just saying that the volunteers and the snowmobile club,
Because it probably won't look that pretty when we first get it done.
well.
And I'm hoping that we get some cold weather,
Right.
to freeze, because if it'll freeze, then we can go back in and all of
The
that.
whole idea is to get people to be able to park up
Right, well, I could sit down there, I guess, and charge a fee for pulling everybody out.
So what, and so this, if we could figure out a base rate, then when I go for the grant next year, then I would like to be able to apply that in there, and then I could just pay the city out of those funds. So if we can kind of figure out if we're gonna be 350, if we get by with 350 for this year, and then next year you say, oh, we were over by 50 or $75, then I'll discuss it with you beforehand, and then I can figure that into my calculate with my budget with them.
And then, like I said, that can work,
Okay,
you know, because once again, I've got the time and stuff, and I can help get that done too, to keep the cost down,
okay.
because I don't need my time in the loader and my
Okay.
fuel.
Well, I'm sure we'd run it through the snowmobile club, but it still has to go to a vote form.
It has to go to a vote, but,
Yeah,
you know, I'm pretty confident that you can make that happen. You know,
so do I have a motion to approve the snowmobile races and to keep a base rate at 350 for plowing out parking?
I make a motion that we proceed with the snowmobile vintage races and a, base rate of $350 for the plowing services at the parking area.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
it. And I get paid whether you come or not, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we're, so, if, right, so we were hoping if we could wait till the week before the poker run, if there was any chance that we knew of the weather, because if we're gonna not have the weather, then there's no sense in plowing it out. So if it keeps melting, don't worry about it. If it looks like it's a go and we're gonna plow, call me, I'll pay you. And then I talked to the merchants in the snowmobile club, and I told them just to reimburse me what they
Well,
could.
You'll keep in contact with the city whether it's gonna go forward or not.
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna go forward up until the weekend of the poker run, when Dave Simonson, we're gonna meet up here and make sure everything's okay, and that, we're gonna go forward until that date, we have to pull the plug.
Okay, because as long as we know something, at least either Friday before or the Monday.
We'll know kind of what it's like, I'll talk to Mike and keep in contact with him.
Yeah, because he's up here, you know,
Yeah,
he drives by the grounds all the time.
he doesn't leave his house,
Huh?
he doesn't leave his house.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
he doesn't go far. He's not on a short leash.
Thank you again, and then we'll be earlier next year.
Oh, okay,
Let's
that's,
get this
yeah,
started.
that's not a problem.
Okay.
Just make sure you have the insurance papers. into the-
Yes, I'll get those to you prior. I'll get those to you on Wednesday or the week
Oh,
before the
Yeah,
race.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
because we usually, we have that fits within our cancellation time. If we get them, apply for the insurance on Wednesday, they grant it the same day. And then if for some reason something comes up, then we have till Friday to end it if we needed to.
Perfect.
Okay, and then so do I need to get a form from you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Can I also include this, can we make this easier on council and those folks like Coy here? We have this a running event every year, so we don't have to go to this trouble and requesting it every year and plan on it in the future.
It's more of a special event. It's like opening up the fairgrounds for a wedding every June 1st. I mean, you know, things change so much,
It's
Well,
just, it's just.
but it can be, you know.
Not the calendar side of it,
Mhm.
just the event, so that you're kept in the loop when it starts, and if you're not kept in the loop at a certain period of time, then somebody needs to ask the question. But if it's a plan every year that we run the antique races in February, plus or minus a week from the poker run, maybe add another week in the 1st of March, you're looking to that to happen. Then you're not Coy or Jake or Billy Sprout, whoever it was, gonna have to come up and request this every year.
Well, I
and
think,
waste the council's time.
I think the best way to do it is like the first of the year, like this form, I said the event form, he just fills it out and sends it in to us. Cause it's just like the runners, they came every year, but every year they still fill their form out, so we knew they were coming, so we at least kind of got them on the calendar.
Okay.
Well,
So we don't have to remember.
well, that also, by going that route, you don't have to show up.
No,
You do it, it comes to us, and it can come to council, and then
right,
they can get voted on,
Yeah.
unless something changes. Because I remember at one time or another, they had, the snowmobile races were actually gonna try to do twice a year. Because we were gonna try to do it in December, when the holidays were around, that was one of them, or January. But then the weather didn't come until March, and we didn't, so it kind of got pushed out, but that's what I'm saying, so it's hard to say, well, we're gonna approve one, but then you may want another one.
Well,
So if you still do it coming through, because we still as a city, regardless of who sits here, we still as a city, want to make sure the ducks are in a row, the insurance is there and everything follows through on that behalf. However, like I says, if we do this, doing it the way that we just now did, and set it on a flat fee for plowing, because that's a big issue, plowing the fairground. But if we know it's coming, we can work at this throughout the year. When the weather's good, you know, but yet at the same time, things are still frozen, we can work at moving snow a little bit at a time.
Right, then you're on top of it all.
We're on top of that part. The bad part about it is if it's like this, where we did this year, and then you turn around and you end up with this,
It melts off.
and then it melts off.
Mud mist.
We went through the expense of plowing it, or you guys paid for that to plow it off, and the event's not gonna take place. That's the only issue that I see on the mechanics of it.
but we can, like I say, just fill your form and, you know, mail it in, and you don't have to physically be here. Cause you're established that you're doing this every year, which is, we need to, cause we may not be sitting here, we may not be sitting here.
I get to see all the smiling faces.
Oh, well, then you're welcome to come.
Is there, let me ask this, is there, I mean, is it something that is generally accepted? I mean, there's no reason that we could plan this and that it would be denied by council, is there? I mean, so we
Not
can.
that I,
Unless you
Just
really
like
messed up.
yeah,
Not to this council. This council is going to change, and it's going to change next year.
Okay,
So that's the difference.
I think the only thing that would disrupt it, other than, you know, different people on council, is if you guys leave a bunch of trash laying around, right over people's
Right.
property. I mean, it's just bad behavior would probably be the only thing.
That would be the only thing that would deter it.
yeah, no,
As
I-
far as that, other than, because as far as I know, for the years that you've been doing this, the biggest issue that I see is insurance. Make sure that that's in.
Yeah.
We could care less about anything else in insurance, and you all did it.
right.
And then the thing is, though, we did take it off of the city's liability to have the races itself on city property, and we put that on Simonton. So if that still applies, then the city shouldn't have an issue. It may be different if you came back and said Simonton's got mad at you, and therefore you have to put it back at the city, because, and then, these are the variances that I see that could make this change. You know, because then now you're getting into where our insurance and everything else and things like this, and
You know, the other aspect of, like Mike's saying, just count on this.
Mhm.
If you're gonna use TLT for advertisement, then at the beginning of the year,
you can put it in.
watch for the upcoming dates for our
yeah,
such and such races, da, 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 da. They are gonna happen. The, dates aren't set in stone, but watch for them.
yeah,
Right.
You know, so you get an earlier jump on your advertisement,
sure.
and people have time to plan.
And that, I mean, you could put in your application that you're gonna do the races in October or November. Just fill out that form and say, this is our tentative dates, so we just know that you're still planning on coming.
And like I said, it just kind of got
Yeah, I know,
sidestepped this year a little bit,
I
so.
know.
And like I said, the
Yeah.
major thing is if we know that it's coming, then we can keep up on plowing and keep that lot clean. But like I said, that's an expense too. But the expense goes down when you're dealing with this with snow.
Right.
When you're dealing with 4 foot, and dealing with dry snow. Cause I guarantee you, Tim could have went out there with the grader and that wing, probably had that cleared out in 2 hours.
Could have.
Yeah.
Could have.
Everyone.
Locked
Yeah,
down.
now we're gonna go out there and we're gonna have to fight it. and make some big snowballs.
Okay.
Well, and one of the things I was gonna say too, with you, if you know, go in November to TLP, you can start that relationship with Jessica and get her to start promoting it on the Baker County website, so she does a lot of advertising. And she does a lot of bumps and stuff like that in Boise and all that. It gives her a bigger window to get
Okay,
you
yeah.
even more visibility too. So, yeah, starting it earlier.
Starting earlier is the key, yes.
Mhm.
So that it will change this year. It's hard to, are we gonna get enough snow? Do we have snow? Still the question today is that gonna happen? I think we're good. Cross your fingers.
Yeah.
I think we're all okay.
Yeah,
But you can always post your signage to tentative date, and for your preliminaries, even though you don't know. And then fine tune it, change your advertising in the end and go, it's now
Right.
this
Get
date.
your base advertisement and everybody thinking about it and
Yes.
watching for the date.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is right fact.
Mhm.
so we just hope for snow. Okay, next thing, old business. So you guys have a couple things there. You have the Knee-High Enterprises new bid, and because we took the windows out of the doors for the fire department, and then they wanted to put in a Genie commercial electric opener, which will also have to include some electrical. So the doors we're looking at is the R18, so it's $4,250 for the one and $3,015 for the other one. The Genie commercial is $600. Now the
That's a
volunteer,
residential,
yeah,
not commercial.
a residential one, sorry. That's what we decided, residential, right? Yeah.
Well, we haven't decided
Well,
yet. but
So,
we
and
have to-
what the fire department wanted it to be electric, and they said that the volunteers has enough money to pay for the difference to put the installed opener in, and also they need to include in that if they're putting the plugs in, and since they're not here today, we don't know if they're okay with that. So we're looking at about $8,000 for the two doors to include the opener and stuff if we go with the residential. And the reason we're doing this is because those doors leak and it's using a lot of, fuel.
And mice and flies.
in my-
So this one, so we're looking at the second one on the second page, is what we're looking for.
Well,
It's the R value of 18,
yeah, 18 is
and then it's like, and then we're
42.50.
gonna do the residential door opener,
Yeah,
comes out to $8,465
yeah.
plus.
But the 600 and the electrical install will be, money donated to the fire department, to the city for for that.
For the volunteers.
For the volunteers.
So they're gonna pay us the $1,200.
No,
No, that's what it said.
$600, and then I don't know how much the electrical plugs are gonna be.
I understand, but I'm
But
saying.
they
those-
will
There's
get
twelve-
ready.
that's 1200.
It's
It's
$1,200
$1,200.
because
Oh,
there's
600 per door.
Oh, per
Yeah.
door, okay, 1200.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm not,
So like I said, it's $1,200 and that's not for the installation, that's
Plus
for the opener
electrical.
and the installation.
The spreadsheet, second page.
Oh. thanks,
Right here.
I've had a long day.
I understand.
But the electrical's not in there.
But the
That's
electrical, my
electrical.
point is, there's no electrical in there, so we still need. to
And the thing is, though, is on top of that, we had all of our electrical done here. Just what was it, last 2 or 3 weeks ago? We had a 50 amp breaker put out here,
Mhm.
plug, 220. And we had some electrical light moved in the city hall, and we had a plug out there, and it was only like $1,200. So to put these two plugs in for these garage door openers, it shouldn't be that expensive. And if you really had to, which I don't like it, but you could run an extension cord to the plugs,
Yeah, we need to
and
do
I
it
don't
right.
wanna do that.
No, we just need to get it done right.
So therefore, I think it can be done for less than $1,000.
What else is
So do you want to move forward in this, or do you want to wait until, see if the volunteers is, okay with the electrical?
What I would do is I would like to make the motion that we approve option 2. If I can get back to it,
The residential.
where it's the R18,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 doors, and the residential door opener for $8,465. I make a motion that we approve this. And then it's up to the volunteers if they want to pay for power or not.
Well, if they don't want to pay for power, then they'll be manually doing it.
Then they will manually be doing it. We'll
Which
get back to
the last model is like 7,000 without the.
Yeah, the one on the bottom, yeah, thank you. I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor of going forward with this?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
So what I would do is that Matt can call them and tell them they got the thing, they come up, put the doors in, and put the openers
Well, we
in.
gotta get the money from the volunteers.
Well, that's fine too. You can do whatever you gotta do on that behalf. However, I'm just saying, you can call and get them the doors put in. The doors don't do us any good to have the doors put in the middle of summer.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't notice.
I tried to explain that last year. We're gonna spend the money to it, be done with that, and make it worthwhile.
Moving on. Last meeting, we talked about doing the partition wall here. We had the light moved. We're just gonna put a wall across where the safe is, so we can close that door. So when we're on a Zoom meeting or having a conversation with somebody, we can close the door and Matt can still conduct his business. Because right now, it's kind of noisy if you're in here on Zoom and somebody's trying to pay their bill. So we had got a quote on that. It's gonna be under $1,000, right, with the permit. The permit was 142.
Yeah, it should be. I don't know what the lumber prices are today.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what I think Matt did 2x4s, and what I say that it should be made out 2x6. So and then we're gonna use 5/8 sheet rock instead of 1/2 inch to help the sound.
Okay.
So
So we're
those
doing-
are the upgrades part of it.
We're
but
doing
it's-
an interior door though.
We're doing an interior door, door handle. It's only a single door handle with no lock.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to get lost.
Well, when you start getting locks and door handles, they start being $80.
ADA compatible.
Yeah, if they can't go through that's what I told them, if they can't make it through the front, or they can't make it through this one.
I don't know if front door is ADA compatible.
It is, it's 16.
Okay.
Okay, so do we want to move forward on this?
Yes,
Do I have a motion to get this partition done?
I make a motion to get the partition done in the city hall to separate the entrance and the meeting room.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's, I have here that. Okay, and then what is it? There's a bid here for a mini split. I guess Baker Heating and Cooling gave us for a mini split in case we got rid of the oil heater. And we finally got the bid back in to do a
2 minutes worth.
2 mini splits. It's gonna be $21,959. I think we need to kind of
We need more bids.
look into this a little more because it's not on the priority list right now, so. Once we get the doors in, it'll be interesting to see how it helps in the heat. Okay. So next is counselor comments, and I just got a couple things, so I don't know, a lot of people don't know. The museum sprung a leak on Saturday when it was raining so hard, and it sprung a major leak. It went down the walls, into the drywall, and into the rugs in the library. We have buckets and everything, so we turned it into CIS. The people were here this afternoon. They've got big fans and all kinds of equipment in there trying to dry it off. The water didn't suck up too much into the drywall, so I don't know if they're gonna have to cut holes or what in those. And then the adjuster will be here on Friday and meeting with the contractor, and they'll look up in the attic to see what kind of damage, because it ran all the way down the major beam and down the wall, so, hopefully we'll get some repairs done on insurance. So that's what I've been in and out. We have buckets and tarps everywhere in the museum and in the library. The library's still functional though. And the other thing is, the schoolhouse has sprung a leak. It has a broken pipe, so anybody that uses the schoolhouse, there's no water in it right now. I think Tim's gonna try to go under. He looked yesterday, he couldn't really see it underneath. So we're gonna look some more so we can determine where it is. And then if we have to, we'll get a plumber in there under the building and get it fixed. But just for everybody that has events, but you know, there's no water right now.
So, you know, I talked to Marcia briefly before the meeting. I got the impression that it would be repaired before the poker.
I hope, we have
So-
to find it first.
Okay, so that was the other thing I
Yeah.
was not quite clear on. So if it's not, is there a chance to open up the, volunteer park bathrooms? Because we're gonna be there all day Saturday.
Across the street.
Oh,
Fire
yeah,
department
okay,
that comes
yeah.
down the hill.
We'll need something, I mean, we'll struggle with most everything, but water, bathrooms, we can't.
No, the other option would be a porta potty.
Or
Well,
porta potty.
Wait, could we meet here? Pardon, could we use this building? To check in?
Yeah,
That's-
no, they
that's-
can't use it for check-in. I
Oh.
mean, they just take up too much space
Too much
and it
space,
starts
okay.
Friday night and goes
Oh,
all day Saturday.
Yeah, we'll get those open, but I mean, the goal is to get it done. But like I said, the water line he thought he was following, it really wasn't, it was a bowl trail where they pool. So he's gotta get under there and see really, cause just to look, he can't see a wet spot, so I don't know if it's where, so. But yes, cause we've got quite a few things going on up there
Yeah.
that we need to get it fixed, so we're on it.
Well, just, my only concern is if
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen, then
Mhm.
we need toilets
Yeah.
someplace.
I understand, so yeah, we will keep you updated on that.
The volunteer park's not open now?
No, they have closed down.
Wait, I'm close to them now.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like one shop.
Yeah, they're always cool.
yeah. So the only other thing. Yeah. The only thing else I had is last council, it was asked about the $10 charge that's on our sewer. And that is with a loan that we got and is paying back towards the loan we got on the property that's up on where the sewer lines are. And we're far away from paying that off. Somebody was under the impression that we were close to paying that loan off and that charge would go away. No, we still have some years to pay on that. So I just wanted to clear that up. Daryl, you got anything?
I have nothing.
No, sure. Nope. Charlie, I know
I
you do.
Our last meeting in, January 9th, we were talking about this petition wall again. And we were told that it's gonna cost us like $170 some for the building permit for it, because we are in a commercial building. And then, a person stated in public comment that the city has never paid for a building permit. And I have in front of me, because they were specifying volunteer park. Volunteer park, the permit was pulled, Timberline Builders is the one that did it. We paid $1,174.55 for the building permit. We weren't waived. I also, the same thing with the awning there, pavilion, if you will, that's over the picnic tables. A permit was paid for there. I did further check out because we were told the same thing back in 2019, that the shop was built, the permit was pulled, but there was no fees. Fact of the matter is, all of the properties in the city that the city owns are all subject to permits. They're all subject to the fee. Baker City Building Department has the authority to waive such fees. However, it's for hardships. They figure that if you have the money for the project, you have money to pay for the fee, for the permit. The permit fees are based off of how many inspections are going to be. Like if you're building a house, you got insulation, wiring, plumbing, structural. So there's several inspections, that's why it's so high. This is gonna be just a single inspection and then it's gonna be done, and then that's what it costs. But I wanted the record to show that the statement being that because we're municipality, that the fees are waived, and that is not so. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie, for clearing it up.
Nothing.
And I have one other thing. Thursday at 9 a.m. will be the next transient lodging tax committee meeting. For anybody that's really excited about going and staying there all day. Well, last time I went at 9 and I left at 1.
Happening.
So, since I am going to be in town, I will go. No. Public comment? No snacks. Public
I'll
comment.
make you a fat lunch you can take.
You know, as long as I have my caffeine under. So, no public comment? Okay,
I make the motion to adjourn this meeting.
All second it.
okay, it is 5:45 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
4:45.
4:45. I'll tell you, it's been a day.
Now we're out of my day, are you?
Oh, I've been to town, I've talked to the jester, I've talked to this person, I've been bouncing, you know.
She's a good mayor.
Been bouncing.
Pretty sad right now.
Thank you.